higher food and utility costs drive inflation to a 2-month high. The Department of Agriculture steps up its moves to keep African swine fever virus out of Philippine ports and airports. Filipino commuters set to face longer booking time and price surges as Grab Philippines sets to deactivate at least 8,000 driver accounts. And the newly launched The Singer and the Song album of Wishcovery Season 2 finalists receives Gold and Platinum awards. The Philippine Statistics Authority reports the country's head inflation slightly soared in May 2019. Rosalie Cos will tell us why.
Selling halo-halo is Yolanda Tangog's bread and butter. The 52-year-old widow's income sustains her daily expenses as well as her medicines whenever she gets sick. She also helps a little in sending her grandchildren to school. But as the price of some ingredients of halo-halo increases, her sales have been affected since she cannot sell her product at a higher price.
Di baling mura, basta may ikot yung paninda mo, lahat bago. Konting tubo, okay lang sa akin.
Based on the Philippine Statistics Authority or PSA report, the 6-month trend of downward inflation rate has been broken. In May 2019, the rate of increase in consumer prices likely quickened to 3.2%. This is a bit higher than 3% inflation rate in April 2019. According to the PSA, the uptrend was brought about by higher prices of food, housing, and utilities. Inflation in the National Capital Region, as well as in 8 regions outside Metro Manila, was higher last month. Meanwhile, the inflation rate in January is the highest for this year at 4.4%. Malacanang has not given any response to queries on the issue, but the government has promised continued monitoring of the prices of basic commodities. Rosalie Cos, UNTV, News and Rescue, Malacanang.
The Department of Agriculture implements stricter measures against the threat of African swine fever. The Agriculture Secretary also makes an appeal to overseas Filipino workers returning to the country. Nel Maribuhok will tell us why.
The Department of Agriculture or DA has deployed 15 K9 units at the Ninoy Aquino International Airport terminals. It will also send 100 more quarantine officers at ports and airports in the country. This as the Agriculture Department steps up its measures amid the threat of African swine fever or ASF. The agency will also further strengthen its inspection of meat and meat products entering the country. Agriculture Secretary Manny Piñol advises Filipinos coming from ASF-affected countries not to hand carry any meat products.
Sinabi namin sa Department of Transportation na kung maaari, magkaroon sila ng advisory sa lahat ng airlines na bago sumakay yung mga pasahero, wawarningan na sila na bawal mag-hand carry ng karne papuntang Pilipinas. At before landing, mag-a-advise na on air na bawal magdala ng karne sa Pilipinas sapagkat may fine na 200,000.
The Secretary will also ask President Rodrigo Duterte to give them additional fund for their campaign.
On Monday next week, I will propose to the President, I will ask the President to give me additional money because I want to procure X-ray machines.
Secretary Piñol explained their measures aim to prevent any devastating effects of an outbreak on the country's economy.
We really have to watch out for this because it could have a devastating effect on the economy. In fact, tumaas yung inflation rate ng China because tumaas yung presyo ng baboy at nag-i-import na sila ngayon instead of exporting before, nag-i-import na sila ngayon.
Secretary Piñol also reported there are no cases of African swine fever in the Philippines. According to the World Organization for Animal Health, there is no approved vaccine against ASF, unlike classical swine fever or hog cholera, which is caused by a different virus. Nel Maribuhok, UNTV News and Rescue, Quezon City.
The Department of Justice is set to come up with a report on the government's concession agreements with the 2 water supply providers in Metro Manila next week. Ray Pelayo will tell us why.
President Rodrigo Duterte mentioned a government contract before the Filipino community in Japan last May 30, during a working visit in Tokyo.
Meron doon, binigyan sila, hindi ko muna pangalan ng concession. Even in the contract itself, ang tubig natin is not a natural resource. Not considered a natural resource. Tapos, may kontrata tayo hanggang 2070. Kung ano yung expected profit nila from the year, balagyan natin 2025 na putol o na ano. Tapos sabi nila hindi nila kasalanan. Yung kikitain nila, yung projected income nila hanggang 2077, pagbayad tayo.
The Freedom from Debt Coalition, a debt watch monitor, stands firm there are government contracts that should be reviewed. They cited the concession agreement with the Manila Water Company Incorporated and the Maynilad Water Services Incorporated.
Kahit kasi dito sa kasalukuyang kontrata natin sa Maynilad at Manila Water, no, merong ganyang provision na kung sakaling putulin bigla or magkaroon ng problema, magbago yung polisiya ng gobyerno at hindi nila makukuha yung projected profits nila until 2037, which is the end of the contract sa kasalukuyan, ay babayaran sila ng gobyerno doon sa hindi nila kikitain.
Meanwhile, Justice Secretary Menardo Guevara said they will continue their investigation on the concession agreements with Maynilad and Manila Water. He added that they will submit a report on the more important concession agreement before the cabinet meeting next weekend. It can be noted that the President has instructed agencies, including the DOJ and the Office of the Solicitor General, to review all contracts entered into and remove onerous provisions that might be detrimental to the lives of the Filipinos. Ray Pelayo, UNTV, News and Rescue, Quezon City.
Grab Philippines advises passengers to expect possible difficulty in booking rides and higher fare rate as the ride-hailing company announced the deactivation of 8,000 of their partner drivers. Meanwhile, the Land Transportation Franchising and Regulatory Board will open 10,000 slots for TNVS applications. Joanano tells us why.
The Land Transportation Franchising and Regulatory Board, or LTFRB, will summon the officials of Grab Philippines after the transport network company announced the deactivation of at least 8,000 partner drivers. Grab PH has earlier announced that starting June 10, they will remove thousands of their drivers in their system due to lack of franchise from the LTFRB.
Ang pag-deactivate natin na ito ay alinsunod lamang sa regulation ng LTFRB. Ang regulation ng LTFRB kasi ay kinakailangan ang mga TNVS partners natin ay may hawak na CPC, yung Certificate of Public Convenience, or PA, yung Provisional Authority, para sila ay makapag-operate o makapag-service bilang TNVS. Otherwise, sila kasi ay tinuturing na kolorum.
Because of this, Grab advises their passengers to be more patient and expect difficulty in ride bookings as well as higher fare rate as the number of Transport Network Vehicle Service, or TNVS, will become limited. According to Grab PH, they receive around 460,000 ride bookings every day.
As of now, nahihirapan na tayo na matugunan yan. And pag nagbawas pa tayo, maasahan natin na maaaring bumagal ang pag-book ng cars. For example, mas mahirap makakuha ng request. Ang amount o ang presyo ng fare natin ay depende sa supply and demand. So kung ang supply natin ay mabawasan at bumababa, tapos mataas ang ating demand, maaaring maapektuhan ang presyo natin.
Although it's the LTFRB's order to deactivate TNVS without franchise, LTFRB Chairman Martin Delga argues that Grab should have done this a long time ago. In 2017, the LTFRB ordered Grab and its then rival Uber to deactivate more than 50,000 TNVS drivers for lack of franchise or PA. The board has decided to issue a show cause order on Grab PH and asked them to explain the massive deactivation of drivers announced this week.
Para mabigyan ng pagkakataon ng Grab, magpaliwanag dahil sa issue ng deactivation. Why until now they are still deactivating when in fact that should have already been finished earlier.
The LTFRB will also ask Grab to answer several complaints on their alleged failure to provide fair discount to senior citizens, students, and persons with disability. Meanwhile, starting June 10, the LTFRB will again open 10,000 slots for TNVS applications. This is to meet the gap between the 65,000 supply cap set by the LTFRB. For interested applicants, they may proceed to LTFRB offices. They may also visit their website www.ltfrb.gov.ph for other details. Joan Nano, UNTV News and Rescue, Quezon City.
Students of La Verdad Christian College pay gratitude to Brother Eli Soriano and Kuya Daniel Razon for the chance to study for free. Mon Hokson tells us why.
Noni May comes from a poor family. Her father is a factory worker in Pampanga, while her mother, who's sick, stays at home. Her father's income is not enough to send her to school, especially that they need to spend for her mother's medicines. Noni, the youngest in the family, dreams of getting a decent job to help her parents.
Si nanay po nagda-dialysis ngayon. Tapos si tatay po may trabaho naman po, kaso yung pera po napupunta po sa pagpapagamot ni nanay, tsaka po yung sa renta ng bahay, kuryente, tubig, ganun po.
Beverly Gaspar also comes from a poor family. They transfer from one place to another to find a cheap house for rent. Her father's income is just enough for their daily needs and not sufficient for her studies. Beverly dreams of buying a house for her family so they won't need to rent.
Po, mahirap po kasi po nasubukan po namin na magpalipat-lipat po ng bahay. Tapos hanggang ngayon naman po, nakikitira po kami. Isa po sa mga challenges po namin yung pakikisama po sa tinitirhan namin. Ayun po, kaya po gusto ko rin po na magkaroon na rin po kami ng sariling tahanan po.
Noni May and Beverly are grateful they got the chance to study at La Verdad Christian College, the school established by Brother Eli Soriano and Kuya Daniel Razon for financially incapable children. From school uniforms, tuition, books, and even meals are free in La Verdad. Students don't have to worry about school expenses, but only to study hard and maintain good grades.
Malakas po yung pakiramdam ko na kung sa ibang school man po ako nag-aral, hindi po ako makapagtapos. Kasi yun nga po, hindi po enough yung pera para sa amin. Tapos wala naman pong ibang school na mag-offer ng ganito kagaya na sa La Verdad.
Isa po sa mga naitulong sa akin ng La Verdad, yung nakapag-aral po ako ng libre na wala po akong binabayaran. Tapos po, naturuan po ako dito ng mga mabubuting asal na madadala ko po kahit saan po ako pumunta.
Noni May and Beverly also thank Brother Eli and Kuya Daniel for their help.
Hindi po enough yung thank you, pero thankful po ako kasi may mga ganung tao na kahit hindi naman po ako kapatid, nabibigyan po kami ng pagkakataon na mabigyan po yung mga tulad namin na chance na makapag-aral po. Sila po yung taong nagtutulong sa'yo na kahit wala po silang hinihinging kapalit, enough na po sa kanila makatulong sa kapwa nila kahit na madami pong masasamang words na sinasabi ng ibang tao sa kanila, pero patuloy pa rin po sila sa paggawa nila ng mabuti.
Inangad ko nga mapatapos ko silang lahat. Kahit na kinakapos kami. So, kay Brother Eli, tapos salamat ko. Malaking na yung tulong niya sa pag-aaral ng anak ko. Sana magpatuloy pa ito. Maraming salamat po.
Brother Eli, Brother Daniel, ako po pala si Beverly Amparo po. Isa po ako sa mga nakapagtapos po dito po sa La Verdad Christian College. At salamat po sa Diyos sa inyo dahil pinaisip niya po sa inyo yung pagtatayo po ng eskwelahang ito na naglalayong gumawa ng mabuti sa aming mga kabataan. Salamat po sa Diyos.
On the day the La Verdad graduates received their diplomas, Kuya Daniel Razon and Brother Eli Soriano delivered a message to them.
Kaya mas mahalaga pa rin na alam natin na yung gugustuhin natin ay hindi labag sa gusto ng Diyos, para makaasa tayo na mayroon tayong kasamang Diyos sa pagtahak sa mga bagay na gusto nating maabot sa ating mga buhay.
Gusto ko lang po na yung kinikita ko, maibahagi ko sa mga mag-aaral na gusto mang mag-aral, makatulong sa magulang, wala namang pang-matrikula. Marami na rin po tayong natulungan sa awa ng Panginoon na ngayon nakakatulong na sa kanilang mga pamilya. Kaya ang aking hikayat sa inyo, mga kapatid, mga magulang, tulungan natin ang ating mga anak na lagi niyong paalalahanan na laging mayroon takot sila sa Diyos.
La Verdad Christian College is a private, non-stock, non-sectarian educational institution that is first in the Philippines to offer full scholarship such as free tuition and miscellaneous fees. Mon Hokson, UNTV, News and Rescue.
The Armed Forces of the Philippines defends the Mandatory Reserve Officers Training Corps for Senior High School from the criticisms of a militant group. Leah Ilagan will tell us why.
The Armed Forces of the Philippines, or AFP, supports the Mandatory Reserve Officers Training Corps, or ROTC, to be implemented on students in grades 11 and 12. According to AFP spokesperson Brigadier General Edgar Darevalo, the military will teach senior high school students marksmanship, survival swimming, basic self-defense, jungle survival, elementary map reading, and ground navigation, while the other subjects will be handled by other teachers.
This is just part and parcel of a curriculum, at sa ROTC program na ito, ang gagawin natin, hindi na lamang military ang magtuturo. Pati mga teachers natin, magiging bahagi na rin ng mga instructor.
The AFP spokesperson also emphasized the importance of the ROTC.
Ang importansya ng ROTC, gusto nating ituro sa kanila ang pagkilala sa may kapangyarihan, pagkilala sa mga itinalagang may kapangyarihan at sa ating mga officers. Militarization, ROTC is just part of the curriculum. Isa lang siya sa mga subjects.
However, militant group Karapatan has earlier said that government is putting the youth in a certain danger and only uses the ROTC to strengthen the president's power. But Arevalo clarified that militants have no basis in saying that the ROTC violates some provisions of Republic Act 7160 or the Protection on Children Against Child Abuse and Exploitation.
When that person reaches the age of 18, which is age of majority, except, ito po yung exception, except for training as cadets or as flying cadets or cadets in the Philippine Military Academy, which necessarily includes ROTC cadets, kung saan pwede siya kasama sa ating sinama na reservation, pwede siyang mag-training because pag natapos niya ang training na to, he will eventually become 18 years old. So wala tayong nababiolate.
Leia Ilagan, UNTV, News and Rescue, Camp Aguinaldo.
An advocacy group proposes to limit to 25 years old the age of persons who will be allowed to buy cigarettes. Aiko Miguel will tell us why.
The Philippines is one of 15 countries worldwide with a heavy burden of tobacco-related ill health based on data from the World Health Organization. 410 Filipinos die daily because of cigarette smoking, according to data from the Department of Health or DOH in 2018. Filipinos who smoke have been younger because of affordability and accessibility to buy cigarette per stick in the Philippines. Based on DOH data, the youngest Filipino smoker is 11 years old. This is why Health Justice and Advocacy Group proposes to limit the age of those who will be allowed to buy cigarettes to 25 years old and above.
So natin actually 25 kasi diyan sinasabi ng mga 25 years old, yan yung sinasabi ng mga medical experts na kung saan nakapag-decide yung tao kung mabuti o hindi ang isang bagay sa kanya.
The group aims to focus and work on this in the incoming 18th Congress.
Nagmamapa tayo ng mga bagong miyembro. Sino talaga ang magiging champions po natin in terms of a real tobacco-free Philippines in the incoming Congress, both Senate and lower house.
The bill on tobacco tax hike has been passed in the Senate. When this becomes a law, tax on each cigarette pack will increase by 45 pesos, making a pack of cigarette worth more than 100 peso next year. According to DOH, this is good news as this can save the lives up to 300,000 Filipino smokers.
The higher the taxes, tsaka the higher the price, padami ng padami yung nababawasan kasi nakukonti yung mga batang nagsisimula. Tsaka nagkakaroon ng mga nagki-quit dahil nagiging mahal na nga siya.
Danny Bihis is one of those who may quit smoking when the price of cigarette becomes expensive. He is also in favor of the proposal to make the age limit of those who will be allowed to buy cigarettes to 25 years old.
Tama naman, parang maganda rin pakinggan yan. Pero masusunod ba? Depende sa nagbibenta kasi yung mga nagbibenta, kahit bata binibentahan. Kasi lang na bumibili. Siyempre, negosyo yan eh. Kailangan nila kumita.
Aiko Miguel, UNTV News and Rescue, Quezon City.
Task Force Bangon Marawi will appeal to the Commission on Audit not to disallow the Housing and Urban Development Coordinating Council or HUDC on the 5 million peso fund intended for Marawi rehabilitation but utilized to finance the pilgrimage of some Muslims who belong to the internally displaced persons or IDPs in the city. Based on the statement of Housing Czar and Task Force Bangon Marawi Chief Secretary Eduardo Del Rosario, the said amount of funds was released to the National Commission on Muslim Filipinos or NCMF as part of the social healing process in the overall rehabilitation of Marawi. A raffle was conducted among displaced locals and those who were luckily picked their airfares to and billeting for a month in Saudi Arabia were facilitated. The official reiterated that the social healing of these IDPs is also an important process of the rehabilitation and that the 5 million peso fund was properly dispensed by the NCMF. Groups that oppose the construction of Kaliwa Dam launches a signature campaign for a petition to stop the project. Even locals in Infanta Quezon expressed their disapproval of the dam construction. Ray Pelayo tells us why.
Stop Kaliwa Dam Network, composed of various groups, say they are now gathering 10 million signatures for their petition to stop the construction of Kaliwa Dam in Quezon Province.
At least 10 million. Parang maramdaman ng pamahalaan na marami ang hindi pumapayag na ibaon sa utang. At marami ang nagmamahal pa rin sa kalikasan, lalong-lalo na ngayong climate change na.
The Kaliwa Dam project costs $800 million, which can generate 600 million liters per day. But the groups fear how much the soon-to-be constructed dam can withstand the frequent heavy rains.
isang malaking baha, malakas na ulan, bagsak na yung proyekto na yan dahilan sa alam namin sa karanasan namin na grabe na talaga ang ulan ngayon.
Aside from this, around 24 barangays in Infanta, Quezon will also be affected because residents there depend on the Agos River that provides their domestic water and water for irrigation.
Na yung pong halaga ng ani ng palay sa loob na isang taon ay nagkakahalaga po yun ng mahigit 180 million pesos na halaga ng ani. So maapektuhan din po yun.
Even the indigenous people in the area are not in favor of the project because they depend on the mountain for their livelihood.
Pinipilit ang makuha sa amin yung PIC samantalang hindi pa unawa ng karamihang mga katipupo.
The Metropolitan Water Works and Sewerage System, for their part, commit not to start the project until they have relocation sites for residents who will be displaced by the dam construction. The China-funded Kaliwa Dam project is seen as a long-term solution to Metro Manila's perennial water problem. Ray Pelayo, UNTV, News and Rescue, Quezon City.
6 senators delivered their valedictory address as the 17th Congress comes to an end. Senate President Vicente Soto III has appealed to the new batch of lawmakers in the 18th Congress. Nel Maribuhok will tell us why.
Yesterday was the last day of session of Congress for Senators Gringo Nasan, Francis Escudero, Loren Legarda, Joseph Victor Ejercito, Bam Aquino and Antonio Trillanes IV. The senator formally bade farewell as they end their term on June 30. Senators Ejercito and Aquino lost their bid for another term in the 2019 midterm elections, while Senator Nasan is uncertain if the position as Secretary of the Department of Information and Communications will pursue.
If fates will decree that I am to join you again in a few years' time, after being fired or resigning from the presumptive job that I will be occupying, then that is already to be decided, not here, but somewhere else.
In their valedictory speech, Senator Aquino enumerated some of the landmark legislations he authored, which include the law on free tuition on state colleges.
Hindi kailangang malibing kasama ng ating mga buto ang mga mabubuti nating nagawa dito po sa Senado. Bagkos nabubuhay ang mga batas at reformang ating tinrabaho.
Senator JV expressed his gratitude to those who supported him, especially his father.
Sa aking ama, bagamat wala siya, si Pangulong Mayor Erap, nais ko magpasalamat sa lahat na ibinigay mo sa akin, kahit na hindi mo na ako favorite sa ngayon, at medyo hindi na nagtutugmang ating direksyon lately.
On the other hand, Senator Escudero is now preparing for his new path of public service as the new incoming governor of Sorsogon.
Meron pong ngiti sa akin mga labi dahil makalipas ang araw na ito. Mas may panahon na ako na makapiling ang aking mga kababayan na kailanman ay hindi naging mapangusga. Wala akong pinapatamaan. Bagkos ay palaging nagtiwala at naniwala sa kabila ng lahat ng unos at pagsubok na aking pinagdaanan.
Incoming Antique Congresswoman Senator Legarda has a piece of advice to the two losing senators.
I won thrice, I lost twice. That's why, JV, Bam, remember, I am certain you will be back.
And as the 17th Congress ends, Senate President Vicente Soto III reported the upper house's accomplishments. Of the 2,235 bills filed, 592 were signed into law. SP Soto also has an appeal for the incoming 18th Congress.
We wish the coming Senate to carry on the task we are passing on to them. Let us remain cooperative but independent, balanced, transparent, and sincere.
The 18th Congress starts on July 22. Nel Maribuhok, UNTV News and Rescue, Senate of the Philippines.
Malacanang says it welcomes the use of a hybrid system in the elections in the country. Meanwhile, an election lawyer believes a law on this will be enacted in the 18th Congress. Grace Casin tells us why.
After the glitches recorded in the midterm elections, President Rodrigo Duterte himself wanted to dispose the services of Smartmatic, the system used in automated elections in the country. Lawmakers in both houses of Congress pushed for the use of hybrid system in 2022 elections. According to presidential spokesperson Salvador Panelo, whatever system that will not produce circumstances or technical glitches that create doubt on the credibility of an election are acceptable. But amendment of the law must be done to use a hybrid election system.
Kung hybrid tayo na may manual counting sa presinto, we need to amend the law.
Election lawyer Attorney George Erwin Garcia believes that the Indian Congress can pass a law to use a hybrid election system.
At ako naniniwala, dahil ang administrasyon ni Pangulong Duterte, sa kasalukuyan, lalo na siya, ay may pinakamataas pa rin na trust rating, performance rating ng ating mga mamamayan, ito yung pagkakataon sa kalagitnaan ng kanyang administrasyon, i-push na yung mga ganitong mga pagbabago.
In hybrid election system, the canvassing of votes will be manual, while the transmission will be automated. According to poll body, they will abide if Congress passes a law changing the current system of election.
It's all in the hands of Congress. If Congress mandates a certain model of election system, then that is the model that we will use.
Grace Cassid, UNTV News and Rescue, Quezon City.
The Smithsonian's National Museum of Natural History will open its fossil hall after 5 years of renovations. Kath Dumaraos will tell us why.
A new exhibit at the Smithsonian Museum of Natural History in Washington will open to the public, showcasing 3.7 billion years of life on Earth, highlighting the connections among ecosystems, climate, and geological forces. The fossil hall at the Natural History Museum closed in 2014 in order to undergo an extensive upgrade. The 31,000 square foot exhibit aims to show how ecological events of the past, including global warming trends, are pertinent today.
I think it's special because it brings together all the different forms of life that we have a fossil record for and shows how they're connected to each other, and they formed ecosystems through time. And then when we get up to the present, we see that the world can sustain all these different forms of life and has sustained them through time, and now we're in a different world with ourselves, and we have to use that knowledge from the past to understand how we can go forward still in balance and still keeping all the different life forms together and alive.
The refurbished hall contains more than 700 specimens, including plants, reptiles, mammals, insects, and of course, dinosaurs. Many of the dinosaur fossils from the hall were temporarily relocated to Research Casting International in Canada, which specializes in restoring dinosaur bones, where they were repositioned into dramatic, new, and more scientifically accurate poses. The hall's construction cost $110 million. The opening ceremony begins on Saturday. The first 300 visitors to the National Mall entrance will be able to participate. Kat Dumaraos, UNTV News and Rescue.
A Polish daredevil known as Desolation Spider-Man has been arrested after climbing up the Marriott Hotel in Warsaw using just his bare hands. Thrill seeker Marcin Banot was spotted by passers-by in the Polish capital scaling the 387-foot tower without a harness or safety ropes. The 31-year-old was charged with public disorder after officers waited for him at the top of the hotel and checked if he was sober. The daredevil has 178,000 subscribers on YouTube and faces a 200-pound fine. An injured hiker was taken for a dizzying ride in Phoenix, Arizona, when the basket of a rescue helicopter began spinning wildly as she was airlifted. A 75-year-old woman fell at Piestawa Peak, a mountain in the middle of the city, injuring her face. As helicopter crews attempted to lift her in a basket, she began to spin faster and faster. A local fire official said she was treated for nausea and dizziness, but was otherwise unharmed from the ride.
Hundreds of overseas Filipino workers joined this year's celebration of Migrant Workers' Day held in Malate, Manila today. Meanwhile, the Overseas Workers Welfare Administration expanded its digital literacy program and signs an agreement with the Philippine Association of Nurses. April Senedoza will tell us why.
59-year-old Elena Bularan was able to build a small house when she worked as a domestic helper in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. She did not experience maltreatment from her employer, but had difficulty working abroad because she was alone, always longing for her family.
Medyo may kahirapan lang dahil nag-iisa lang ako sa bahay. So ang alaga ko 5 bata, tapos all around. May balak ako kasi kinukuha ako sa Abu Dhabi by January. Mag-aalaga naman ako ng baby.
Meanwhile, 36-year-old Dornel Padriquez, who had worked as a kitchen staff in Qatar, has chosen to pursue business than working abroad.
Wala pa akong balak bumalik, pero negosyo muna ang ang pangunahing pangangailangan. Sana ma-aprobahan yung loan ko about sa negosyo program ng OWA.
Labor Secretary Silvestre Bello III considers overseas Filipino workers as new heroes because of their contributions to the country's economic growth through their remittances.
Ang importante dito na hindi tayo magpapadala ng workers natin kung hindi natin natitiyak ang kanilang kaligtasan at yung tamang pagtatrabaho nila.
Former and current overseas workers, together with some of their families on Wednesday, joined this year's celebration of Migrant Workers' Day held in Malate, Manila. The event aims to honor millions of OFWs in different parts of the country and celebrate the passage of Republic Act 8042, or the Migrant Workers and Overseas Filipinos Act, signed by former President Fidel Ramos on June 7, 1995. Meanwhile, the Overseas Workers Welfare Administration and Facebook announced the expansion of OWA's digital literacy program to reach OFWs in Hong Kong, Singapore, and Middle East. Enhanced digital literacy modules that cover digital discourse, online privacy, safety, and information literacy, among others, will be launched this year.
We could monitor those who had been trained and how successfully they had imbibed or had learned from the training sessions.
We have a lot of online resources that we can also for continued learning. So the workshops, the interactive workshops are really critical, and then we also create a lot of online content that they can continue to learn.
Moreover, OWA also signed a memorandum of understanding with the Philippine Nurses Association for the protection of Filipino nurses abroad.
Kapag kailangan ng tulong ng OFW nurses, yung ayuda na sinasabi nga ni ISEC, yung protection na pwede natin ibigay sa mga OFW nurses natin.
And with this MOA, I believe that the relationship will further be strengthened.
April Senedoza, UNTV News and Rescue, Manila.
Meanwhile, Executive Secretary Salvador Medialdea on Tuesday said President Rodrigo Duterte recalled a memorandum banning government officials from traveling to Canada. This after the Canadian government finally shipped back to its domain all 69 tons of trash illegally dumped in the Philippines sometimes between 2013 and 2014. With the trash reshipment, the Philippines is expected to restore diplomatic ties with the North American country. Last May, Malacanang issued a memorandum directing all heads of government agencies, government-owned and controlled corporations, and government financial institutions to refrain from issuing travel authorities for official trips to Canada. It was in response for the latter's failure to take back the trash shipment on the May 15 deadline set by the president. And for the news abroad, here's Stephanie C. reporting live from Hong Kong. Stephanie, good evening.
Good evening, William. Thousands of people have signed a petition calling for Japan to end dress codes that require women to wear high heels in the workplace. Kate Maraos will tell us why.
For 26-year-old Yui Mori, who works as a manufacturing employee, wearing high heels is too painful for her feet and would rather wear comfortable footwear at work. But it is difficult for people like her because wearing high heels has been a norm in a Japanese working society.
My feet starts hurting and it's painful to keep standing in heels. Sometimes my back even starts to hurt. Those are some of the downsides.
Recently, a social media campaign against dress codes and expectations that women wear high heels at work has gone viral in Japan, with thousands joining the Kutu movement. Nearly 20,000 women have signed an online petition demanding the government ban companies from requiring female employees to wear high heels on the job. The Kutu campaign, a play on the word for shoes or kutsu in Japanese, and kutsu or pain, was started by actress and freelance writer Yumi Ishikawa, who submitted the petition to the Health Ministry on Monday. She launched the campaign after tweeting about being forced to wear high heels for a part-time job at a funeral parlor and drew an overwhelming response from women.
Many people need to realize that there is a fundamental sexual discrimination. We need to be angry about this. But we have been taught to live with it for many years. I think it is very important for us to be aware that we are not treated fairly.
In decades past, businessmen were expected to wear neckties, but that changed since the government started a Cool Biz campaign in 2005 to encourage companies to turn down air conditioners and reduce electricity use. Now many businessmen and government officials don't wear ties at work. The petition seeks to end gender discrimination and make it easier for everyone to work, creating a working environment free from unnecessary burdens. The Health Ministry said it was reviewing the petition and declined to comment further. Kat Dumaraos, UNTV News and Rescue.
Tens of thousands joined a sombre candlelight vigil in Hong Kong to mark the 30th anniversary of the crackdown on protests in Beijing's Tiananmen Square. Rosalie Cos will tell us why.
In Hong Kong, tens of thousands of people have gathered in Hong Kong to mark the 30th anniversary of Chinese troops opening fire on student-led democracy protesters in and around Tiananmen Square. Hong Kong and Macau are the only places in Chinese territory where people can commemorate the activists killed in 1989. In mainland China, the authorities have banned even oblique references to the crackdown, which took place after weeks of mass protests that were tolerated by the government. The numbers gathered in and around Tiananmen Square are estimated to have reached a peak of 1 million people. In Czech Republic, tens of thousands of Czechs took to the streets on Tuesday to demand the resignation of billionaire Prime Minister Andrej Babiš. Demonstrators filled the 700-meter-long rectangular Wenceslas Square in central Prague, scene of some of the most politically momentous gatherings in Czech history. Organizers estimated 120,000 people had come out, making it one of the largest demonstrations since the Velvet Revolution that ended communist rule in 1989. Protests against Babiš have swelled since the end of April, just as Czech police concluded investigations into whether he illegally received a €2 million EU subsidy for a farm and convention center a decade ago and recommended he face trial.
President Donald Trump has just encountered the first real complication of his important London visit, a sleepy cat. During Trump's Tuesday visit to 10 Downing Street, which serves as the office and residence of UK Prime Minister Theresa May, a cat decided to lie down underneath the president's limo, known as the Beast. Known as Downing Street's Chief Mouser, Larry has lived at the Prime Minister's residence since 2011, when former Prime Minister David Cameron welcomed him to the house to deal with a rat problem. Larry spends his days greeting guests to the house, inspecting security defenses, and testing antique furniture for napping quality. But it seems Larry overstepped his boundaries a little bit. The important cat's decision to relax below Trump's heavily armored vehicle meant that it couldn't drive until Larry decided to leave. But Larry refused, leading some journalists waiting outside to joke about the huge security issue. And those are the news from the other parts of the globe. Back to you, William.
Thank you very much, Stephanie C., reporting live from Hong Kong. The Wishcovery Season 2 finalists reach another milestone during the launching of their album, The Singer and the Song. Meanwhile, the biggest online singing competition will get bigger in its third season. Nina Armilio will tell us why.
Wishcovery Season 2 finalists gathered once again on stage last night at the Big Dome for the launching of their very own album entitled The Singer and the Song. The album includes the songs composed by the Wishcovery Season 2 composer Wishcoverers for the Wishcovery finalists. I am a singer, and this is my song. Apat na sulok ng mundo'y pinagsaya.
Hanggang dito na lang tayo sa maliit na kwadrado. Nasa'yo, nasa'yo. Ang sakit-sakit naman ng ginagawa mo. There is a light in the night. Kung ako ay papalari sa isang hingang malalim.
The Wishcoveries also performed, together with their Wishcoverers, original Filipino music or OPM hit songs in the previous decades.
Sabihin mo na kung anong gusto mo. Pagdating ng panahon, baka ikaw rin at ako. Ikaw lang ang laman ng aking awit. Ikaw lang ang matayog na bituin. Walang mura. No, 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 no. Sigurado. Walang mura. Walang mura. Why can't it be? Why can't it be the two of us? Kahit minsan ay mapansin ako. And I don't wanna go pretending that it's gonna be a
And a big surprise also unfolded last night during the album launch, when the Singer and the Song album received gold and platinum awards for selling over 15,000 units within one day after its release.
Parang nanganak. No, finally, you see the fledgling little kid that you trained, and then she did everything that you asked her to do and more. And then seeing her finally perform the song even better.
And as expected, the biggest online singing competition will get even better in its third season. The search will soon be on as Wish 107.5, which covers the next big singer-composer in the brand new season of Wishcovery. This was revealed by the innovator of Wish FM and the iconic Wish boss, Kuya Daniel Rizon.
Well, yung Season 3 natin will be original songs. At yung mga original songs na yon, ang kakanta rin ay kung sino yung nag-compose.
Even veteran composers of OPM hit songs subscribe to the idea.
They don't have to ask songs. They write it. And it is in keeping with their brand. It is on brand. It is in their musical DNA because the style comes from them. So it would be nice para iba from this.
Singer-songwriter. Talagang may content na siyang kasama. I mean, you guys have been promoting new artists on your Wish Bus. And they're singer-songwriters, di ba? So why not?
Pwede rin mangyari yun. Siyempre, kung ano yung idea ng wish na tingin natin makakatulong healthy for the songwriters and for the singers, siguro yan ang gawin natin.
Saksakan ng dami, ubod ng rami, siksik at liglig. Kaya lang walang venue at walang tulad nyo na nagbubukas ng pintuan para sa mga kabataang ito.
Kung saan abot na aking kakayahan makatulong, makapagturo ng yung alam natin, yung ating maliit na kakayahan, gagawin po natin yon para makatulong tayo sa ating kapwa. Sa mga nagsisimula mga songwriters, tutulong po tayo, tutulong.
Maybe one way to really help on the searching part, the searching stage of the competition is more time for yung songwriters from different areas of the country. Yung more time, meaning ko na if there was, kung meron lang 1 day or 2 days, baka we can do it like 3 days or ano. Kasi ang dami talaga ang dami talaga.
May kanya-kanyang musika ang bawat region. Siguro, we need songs na nanggagaling sa region. Hindi lang siya Tagalog, yes, Visayan song, Ilocano, Kapampangan. Kasi mas diverse eh. We need diversity.
Kuya Daniel also plans on not just making Wishcovery bigger, but also broadening the coverage of the Philippines' first FM station on wheels.
We will be coming up with a wish bus in South America as well as in the Middle East. And hopefully, ay makukuha natin to little by little, and slowly but surely we really are expanding yung horizon natin para mas maabot natin yung iba pang mga bagay na hindi pa siguro nadadaanan o yung mga sinasabi nga na unbeaten path na pwede pa natin na mapuntahan para mas maipakita nating mga Pilipino sa buong mundo yung kakayahan sa pag-awit at sa paglikha ng mga awit.
Ninya Armilio, UNTV, News and Rescue.
And those are the reasons behind the news this June 5th, 2019. On behalf of Alex Baltazar and Angelo Castro III, I am William Theo, and before we close, we will recap with today's significant sound bites. Because we need to know, we will always ask why. Good evening.
On Monday next week, I will propose to the President. I will ask the President to give me additional money because I want to procure X-ray machines.
Ang amount o ang presyo ng fare natin ay depende sa supply and demand. So kung ang supply natin ay mabawasan at bumababa tapos mataas ang ating demand, maaaring maapektuhan ang presyo natin.
At least 10 million. Parang maramdaman ng pamahalaan na marami ang hindi pumapayag na ibaon sa utang. At marami ang nagmamahal pa rin sa kalikasan, lalong-lalo na ngayong climate change na.
Sila pong taong nagtutulong sa'yo na kahit wala po silang hinihinging kapalit, enough na po sa kanila makatulong sa kapwa nila.
Isa po ako sa mga nakapagtapos po dito po sa La Verdad Christian College. At salamat po sa Diyos sa inyo dahil pinaisip niya po sa inyo yung pagtatayo po ng eskwelahang ito na naglalayong gumawa ng mabuti sa aming mga kabataan. Salamat po sa Diyos.
We will be coming up with a wish bus in South America as well as in the Middle East. And hopefully, ay makukuha natin to little by little, and slowly but surely we really are expanding yung horizon natin para mas maabot natin yung iba pang mga bagay na hindi pa siguro nadadaanan o yung mga sinasabi nga na unbeaten path na pwede pa natin na mapuntahan para mas maipakita nating mga Pilipino sa buong mundo yung kakayahan sa pag-awit at sa paglikha ng mga awitin.